In this video, I'm going to show you our reporting section in Praktika. So reports on the left-hand side. Now, our report section is broken into 5 different categories, which we can see here: advance reports, communication, patient reports, treatment reports, and financial reports. The advanced report section up here will only be visible if the user who's logged in has permission to see these advanced reports. Our first report here is our fee comparison report. This report is a comparison of all Praktika users and where or what their fees are per item number roughly. So you've got in here the minimum fee, the median fee, the average, and the maximum, and then you can see in purple where your fee is sitting. So this is based off the default fee schedule. One thing to keep in mind is that we do have quite a few specialists working with us in Praktika, so those maximum fees could in fact be specialist fees. Provider performance report, our next one down here. Just before I explain this report, I will point out in all of our reports, we have pre-selected date ranges up the top here. So you can select anything here. Otherwise, if you want a custom date range, over on the right-hand side, you can put in your from and to dates. If you just want it to bring up one specific day, you can select the day in the from box and press the lock. That will select for just that day only. Another thing is most of our reports will show in a table form as a default. You can change it to a chart if you prefer to view some reports in a chart form. Some reports will be easier to see in a chart form rather than a table form. And lastly, we do have manage column visibility on the right-hand side. In any of our reports, this will appear there. So if you click that, you can simplify your report and remove any columns that you don't want to see. There will be some reports that you can add additional information into the table, so you can tick the boxes for those ones. And we do have our view options. Now, the view options are set per user, so whoever is logged in at this specific time can save their view options and how they want to see this report. So they can go into manage column visibility and remove what they don't want, and they can save this view option so it is like this every time they come back to the report. Got the button save view options down the bottom there. You can export any of these reports to CSV or Excel, and you will notice when we get to our financial reports that you'll be able to export those ones into a MYOB format and a Xero format. Now, this just means it's going to be in the correct layout that MYOB and Xero need. It doesn't automatically upload it into MYOB or Xero. You still need to upload the report. You can print any of these reports as a PDF if you prefer. There is options down the bottom, group by. You can group any of these reports by certain things. Now, I'll point that out as we move through some of those reports. So just back to provider performance. This report is a very handy report so you can see your providers and how they're performing against sort of one another there. So you can see in here, let's just go the last 30 days. We've got a list of all providers here. You can see how many patients they've treated within the last 30 days, how many appointments they've completed, how many days they've worked. So this is based on what's been painted in your scheduler with the provider's color. As an average, how many patients they're seeing per day, how many hours that they've been scheduled to work. Again, this is being pulled off what's painted in the scheduler, and hours appointed. So how many of those hours actually contained appointments. So it's one thing to see hours scheduled, how many hours that they've worked in the last 30 days. against how many hours have actually contained appointments. Hours that have been billed, so completed appointments. Amount that's been billed, adjustments and discounts, the rate or billed after discounts, the rate scheduled hour after discounts, the rate per appointment, and lastly, breaking it down to the rate, what the provider is sort of worth per day after the discounts have been applied. Treatment analysis. This report will show you item codes, how many times those item codes have been invoiced or performed in the count here, the total cost, the total fee. The total cost is a cost that might be entered into your fee schedule. So that's essentially what it costs the clinic. Sometimes, and most of the times, the cost is left blank. And the total fee, that's what's been charged to the patient. And then it breaks it down to the average item fee based on those figures there. The total fee, this could be pulled from the actual appointment itself. So whatever the fee for the item code. Production report. This is a combination of item codes, patient names, and how much has been the scheduled fee, how much has been billed. So the scheduled fee is what is scheduled in your fee schedules for a 011, and the amount that's being billed is what the completed appointment contains. So they can be different. There might have been an increase or a decrease for a 011 for a specific patient. Also, on any of our reports, you can select providers as a default. All the providers will be selected. If you just want specific providers, press the cross and select your providers from here. Accrual revenue. This report is going to show all revenue that's been accrued within a certain time period and where that revenue has come from, whether it's come from deposits or so on. Our communication reports, in here we've got our SMS report, so we can see as an overview how many SMSs in the last 30 days have been sent, and it breaks it down to each day as well. To actually see the messages that have been sent out, we're going to use our communication report. This one is a very handy report. I recommend clinics checking this report at least daily to ensure they're not missing any replies from patients. So in here you can see the patient's name and the actual text message that was sent out. You can see both incoming and outgoing. To see incoming only, you can tick the box for incoming. And that will bring up all incoming replies from patients. You can also filter the in-out column over here. You can just see outgoing ones, or you could select incoming ones as well in here as well. Referrals. This will show referrals that have come into the clinic or have gone out of the clinic, depending on whether you're a specialist clinic or whether you're a general clinic. You can filter through here incoming or outgoing. There is a separate reporting area under referrals itself that is a little bit more detailed, and you can get a bit more information in that report. Patient reports, new patient report in the last 30 days. This is going to show all new patients who have come into the clinic. Now, day joined, so this is the day that their file was created, or you can go by first appointment date, so the date that they actually had their first appointment. In this report, we can see whether they've had treatment proposed to them or not. So in any of these reports, if you would like to contact any of these patients, you might choose to contact people who have had treatment proposed to them. You can select from the boxes here, and you can press either SMS or email, and you can choose how to contact them from there. An SMS, you can just backspace what's in here, And you might type in something along the lines of, thanks for attending your appointment. We notice you've had treatment proposed to you, but no further appointment. Would you like to book in, or something along those lines? You can see also the referral source in this column as well. And we can actually group by our referral source. Now, if I just go back a little bit further, let's go this quarter. We're going to group by referral source, and this report isn't giving us a lot of information. There we go. In the last 365 days, we can see all of our different referral sources. So we've had one patient come in by Google. And if I double click into this information is coming from patient referral source here. So whatever's written in there will show up on this report. Facebook, we can see 2 patients from Facebook in the last year. We can also see if they've had treatment proposed to them as well, so we can see how our Facebook ad campaigns are going and whether they're worth our money. Patient attrition report. This report is going to show everyone who's come into the clinic between the dates, and if they don't have a next appointment date, they're going to appear in here. So these are patients that you could potentially lose because they don't have a next appointment date. So you might choose to come in here regularly, contact some patients, and try and get them to book in for either their recall or treatment that they need to have done. X-rays. We can see all X-ray codes that have been performed on patients, how many times they were done. So this is based on what's been billed on the appointments. FTA and Cancellations. This report's another great report for clinics to utilise. In here, we can see how many patients have cancelled or how many patients have FTA'd. In the column here, you can press the funnel and you can search just for FTAs or just for cancelled appointments. You can see whether they've got a next appointment date in here. If they don't have a next appointment date, you might choose to come in here and contact those people to get them to book in for another appointment. What I like about this report as well, it will show you as a value how many appointments have been cancelled, how many have been FTA'd, but it also shows you if you've had item codes and the amounts entered in. It will show you the value that you've lost from those appointments and the total duration in hours. It's nice to see how many hours that your time has been lost. Birthdays report. This will show up all birthdays. Let's go to today. This is going to show up everyone who's got a birthday today. You might choose to select these patients or select them all and send them a birthday SMS. Appointments. This is an in-depth report of your appointment scheduler. So in the last 7 days, we can see every appointment that's in our scheduler. So we can see treatment types. We can see whether they've got a following appointment. We can see custom icons that were applied to the appointment. So you might want to search by a specific custom icon. Appointment status, so you can see whether we've got unpaid or paid. Patient arrival status as well. If they're still sitting, marked as in the surgery, you might go back and just change that appointment. Change the appointment status in there. You can also, so you can search in the past, but you can search in the future as well with this report. So all time future, this is going to show everyone who's got a appointment booked from today, all time in the future. So you can see how many appointments you've got booked in the future. So 14 appointments. Online bookings, this is going to show a report of everyone who has either made an online booking at the clinic or they've tried to and not successfully gone through with it. So we can see in here we've got some not completed ones, so they've started the process but not completed. Failed to book, this means that they've got to the SMS confirmation stage and they haven't entered in the 4-digit PIN code to confirm their appointment. Completed means that they've completed an online booking at your clinic. In here, you might choose to contact the people, or you might give them a phone call, the failed to books or the not completed, because that might suggest that they were trying to book an appointment, but for some reason they weren't able to, or they hadn't gone through with their request. Steri Tracking, this is a report that will show up all Steri Tracking that's been entered within the date range here. Treatment reports, again, very handy reports that clinics should be using. So proposed treatment, this is anything that has been added into the quotes area. The treatment will be classed as proposed. So in the last 30 days, we can see who we've proposed treatment to, the treatment value, and you can also see whether they have a next appointment date and the value of the next appointment if that's been entered in already. So again, you might choose to contact people who have had treatment proposed but don't have a next appointment date, and you might wish to get them to book in for an appointment. Unfinished treatment, this is all treatment that is sitting in the treatment plan. So it's the accepted treatment. So in the last 30 days, we can see all treatment that is sitting in the treatment plan. So we can see how many item numbers have been proposed. You can also see the value and their next appointment date in here as well. So similar reports, the proposed is for proposed treatment, the unfinished treatment is for accepted treatment that's in the treatment plan. Lastly, we've got our financial report. So our cash receipts report is the report that you will be printing out at the end of each day to match your HICAPS, Health Fund and FPOS settlements to ensure that they are the same. So cash receipts is all money that's come into the clinic from every form. You get a breakdown of where the money's come from along the bottom here, and you can see the total there. Print report as PDF, otherwise you can export to any of these file formats down the bottom here. General ledger report. This is a handy report. If your accountant requests a general ledger report, you can supply that to them here. Activity details. This is the report that you will be using to calculate provider commissions. So if you've got associate dentists and you need to calculate their commission, you must use this activity details report rather than the cash receipts report. It's very important that you use this report because the activity details, it will only show when a patient's paid a deposit and it's been allocated to treatment. So you don't want to be paying a provider on cash receipts because that will include patients who have paid deposits but not necessarily gone ahead with treatment yet. It's only in the activity details that you want to be paying the provider once the deposit has been allocated to the treatment they've physically performed and done. We can provide you with instructions on how to use the activity details report to calculate commissions. Just let us know. Accounts receivable, if your accountant may request an accounts receivable report, you can easily supply this one to them. This is going to show every patient who has a balance sitting on their appointment. GST, a GST report if you ever need. Any item that carries a GST component will show up in here. Balance aging. The balance aging report is anyone who has an outstanding account. It breaks it down to how long the account's been outstanding for. So less than 30 days, less than 60, 90, 120, or anything over 120. You can choose to contact these people. You might choose to contact the ones who have been sitting there for a very long time, over the 120 days. You might choose to send them a different kind of approach. And lastly, we have a report on deposits. So all deposits that have been paid to the clinic. So we get our patient name and the current deposit balance and the deposit date. You can also choose to show deposits with a $0 balance. So these would be ones that have paid a deposit, but it's already been allocated to treatment. Therefore, the balance is sitting at zero. I hope this helps. If you have any further questions on anything that I've covered, please do reach out to our support team by sending us an email, and we can provide you with a detailed description of these reports.